Hello, my friends. Welcome to Module 13, where we're talking all about adding embellishments to our dot art mandalas. Okay, I have a number of things here today that we're going to go through, and all of this is just to help make our mandalas unique, help add some bling, make them pop, or just bring out your inner creativity into your dot art mandala. So let's have a look at what we're going to look at today. We have things like dimensional paints. These are Nuvo drops. These are fabric paint, dimensional paints. So they create some really nice dimension on your piece, and also some glitter sometimes, or some translucent. They're great for top dots, swooshing, any of those things, and they really add something nice to your piece. The other thing we'll look at is mirrors. I've got these 4-inch mirrors. You can get them any size. This mirror I have underneath here is almost 12 inches. The lovely thing about it has a beautiful beveled edge to it, and it's quite a nice weight. So I really like these mirrors, and they're very reasonable at Michael's. We have clock parts here. We've got our hands, we've got our clock mechanism, we have clock numbers that we're going to look at how to add those to our pieces. We have rhinestones, so look how beautiful they are. They're just gorgeous. You can get them in so many different colors and different shapes and sizes. They're just gorgeous. So we're going to use those, and we can dot around them, swoosh around them, create any little design that we want to around them. Some people add crystals, and they're just beautiful. They add a unique look. Adding crystals can really make your piece unique as well. The other thing is, I just got these delivered today from Temu, and they are tin insert plates, okay, that you can put in the middle of your piece and do your dot art mandala around it, incorporating the colors of the insert. Now these are, I believe they're 7.87 inches, close to 8 inches, so you'll need a fair size piece to put it on so that you can do your dot art mandala work around it. Now, other than the drops, the paints, the rest of the things will all be put on after you varnish your piece. So you will paint your piece, you will varnish it, and then you'll add your embellishments afterwards, okay? I'm really excited to work with all of these things and to show you how we're going to add them to our piece, to embellish our pieces. So we have mirrors of all different size and shapes, diamonds. I should have some triangles in there. You name it, you can find it. We'll put it on the mandalas. Okay, so I'm excited to get into this module with you. Let's get going. On this little piece here, I decided I wanted to add these diamond-shaped mirrors. So I determined where I wanted to place them on every other line, and then I just took them and traced out the shape in the exact same spot on every other line. And then I'm able to go around, dot around it, do what I need to do, and the mirrors will stay put away until after we've varnished. Now there is another way you can do it by placing sticky tack under them and then placing them down so you can dot or paint or do brush strokes right close up to it. Either way, as long as you know that when you're doing a traced line, that line obviously is shifting everything out just a little bit. So either you're going to have a little bit of negative space, or you're going to bring those swooshes or dots just in so that they do cover that line. Make sure that the points of your diamonds land on your guidelines. And there we are, they're all in. And here you can see I'm using my 2.5mm tool to create a swoosh that will outline that diamond-shaped mirror. And I'm making sure that the paint will cover up the white line that is left from tracing the piece, so that way we'll minimize any negative space in between the mirror and the swoosh. Let's get that third coat of varnish on. As you can see, no mirrors on it. always varnish before you add your embellishments. So we're giving this the last coat of varnish, and once that varnish is dried enough, then we're going to add our mirrors. Alrighty, let's get these mirrors on. I'm just using Gorilla Super Glue to put them on. Now, originally, I just used to put the glue on the back of the mirror and then place it. But I just had too many instances where I dropped the mirror and then I ended up getting glue where it shouldn't be, and it is so hard to come off. So now I just place the glue in the spot where the mirror is going, and then I place the mirror in that spot. You do need to be careful of any stringy bits. So after you've got the amount of glue that you want on there, lift carefully and don't let those strings swing off onto any other part of your piece. And a little dab will do you. Too much and it'll come squishing out the sides. Make sure you've got it in the right place and just give a little pressure down and it's dry in minutes. One more. And later when it's set, you can go in and clean all those mirrors up. And here's what it looked like when it was all done. Beautiful. This is a clock I got at Dollarama for about $5. Let's see what we can do with it. So here I'm just trying to create a plan. So I'm just laying them out now, how I want to position them, and to identify how much room I want on either side. So these numbers are 2 centimeters. Now I ordered the numbers on Amazon because the clock did not come with numbers. Okay, so for these embellishments, the clock numbers, I mean, there's any variety and size that you can get out there. I got these on Amazon, and what I wanted to show you is not my favorite part about it, is that they come on this peg, right? So you have to snap it off the peg. And I've tried several different ways. I have tried just snapping it. I have tried using, like something like this to do it. But, I mean, it's the same thing basically. And even tried cutting it. Okay, so but you still end up with the gold coming off in spots. So my simple solution for that is Deco Art Americana in the gold. I use Glorious Gold and it matches really nicely, and you would never know that that's like that. Otherwise, you will see them and they look, cheap if you don't do that. But once you tidy those up with some Glorious Gold, no one would ever know. And you can get wooden numbers. You can also paint your numbers on. So whichever way you choose works well. What I'm thinking is this is the position I think I'm going to go with. So 2.5 centimeters on the outside rim that I can play with. I'll probably do flowers and then some swooshing in between. And then we've got a row here for flowers, about 10.5 centimeters. Okay, to the inside of the numbers. All right. Now let's look at placing numbers on clocks. This is a tricky one, and as you can see, I sort of mapped it out here first. I wanted to see how they would fit and if I could fit my patterns around it. Now, as you know, before putting those numbers on, all those lines are going to come off. So I'll show you how I went about this. So as you can see, I sort of traced the numbers in there, but I wanted to make sure I had room for those numbers, and I want to put some swooshes in between them. So I'm going in now and sort of rough sketching in my swooshes and then we'll get them in, and then I'll show you how I mark the spots for my numbers. So because I knew I wasn't going to have any guidelines once I had removed them so I could varnish, which always happens before the numbers go on, I decided to place little triangles right at the line that those numbers should sit on. And at least that would give me a bit of a guideline, and then I could eyeball it from there. So now I've finished the painting. I've put on 3 coats of varnish, and I've just placed the numbers on there. And then I will go in with Gorilla Glue to attach the numbers. And again, you're just still using those little triangles for markers as well as your eyes to make it pleasing to the eye, I guess. So I just want to get a little bit of glue on the back of this. And you have to be so careful with your placement because that glue can get everywhere. Trust me from experience. So you're just placing this number, and you want it straight up and down for the 6, right? So right in the center of that little triangle. And remember, you still want to try and get all of them vertical, right? So it will be pleasing to the eye. And you're going to carry on placing these numbers, again, very carefully, so that they're vertical, and use your little triangles as guides. You don't need to put the triangles in. If you can do this without that, perfect. Now we'll move on to the double digits because they can be a little trickier. And number 10 and number 11, I really was squeezed for space there for sure. Okay, our numbers are all on and they're dry. And now we want to put the mechanism onto the clock. These are the clocks that I get from Dollarama, and they're just $5, I believe. Okay, so what I wanted to do was show you the clock mechanism and how, once you're done painting, how that goes together. And of course, these bend so easily. Okay, so it has an hour hand, a minute hand, and a second hand. And you can see how that goes together there. So, and there we are at the back. So the first thing that happens is you're going to pop off this second hand. Okay, so that's the one with the little peg that holds that all down in. So that's the second hand. And then we've got the minute hand and the hour hand. And then there's a little nut on there. Okay, remember this order. And beneath that is a brass washer. Okay, and that's how it comes apart. So I had my hubby make little plugs for these. Just a short piece of dowel that will fit in there so that you can get your center. And you'll pop it out after that. Okay, so let's say your piece is finished and you're ready to put your clock back together, right? So this goes on here because that is what will be hanging your piece. Sometimes they come with a rubber washer. So that piece goes on, and then your washer goes on. And then that's going to come up through the center. Okay, next thing will be this brass washer. It's going to go down there. Then your nut is going on. Okay, and of course you'll need to orient it, and so tighten it up when you have it in place to where you want that to be. Okay, so you're just going to tighten it up like that. The next thing that goes on is your hour hand, and it just slips down and pushes You just push that down on until it's seated. Then the next one is your minute hand, and it pushes down as well. And the last one is your second hand, and it's the one that pops into that little peg. So you've got all your pieces, okay? And they should look like so, okay? And then you'll put the battery in it and you'll be good to go. All right, but I just wanted to let you know that order. And that's that easy. So here we are with our clock, and we're at the point of now putting on the little brass washer, and then we're going to tighten down that screw to hold everything in place.
Yeah, so you see how there's a little shoulder there? You've got to be down far enough that the bottom hand, yeah, it goes.
And there is our kitchen clock. And it's working. So, embellishments to make a clock. There you go. Okay, let's talk about adding a large mirror to our piece next. Okay, when we're laying out a mirror to put on our MDF board or whatever you're putting it on, you're looking for the size of mirror that you have, right? This one says 12 inches or 30.5 centimeters. But when I actually measure it, it is 11 3/4 inches, not 12, or it is about 30 centimeters. So you want to give yourself a little bit of leeway. So if you're going in centimeters, I'd put like a millimeter or two on either side so that you can have room to get your mirror in, okay? So take your compass, divide your measurement in half, and then you'll put your compass in and you'll do the circle at that half of the diameter, the radius, and that's going to give you the spot where your mirror will be right in the center of your piece, okay? And important to note that along that line that you have put on there with your compass, you need to make sure your circle of dots is a circle and that it doesn't encroach on that at all, okay? Otherwise, it's not going to look right. Yeah, so let's get down to how we're going to lay it out. So I actually have 64 sections that I have marked out for my grid lines, just so that I have lots of guidelines there. I like them especially in the beginning here, just to keep on track with my rounds of dots. All right, so we finished the painting. I've got 3 coats of varnish on there, and now it's time to start adding our embellishments. I've lined up all of the diamond-shaped mirrors I need for the first couple of rows, and I'm going to just start adding them using Gorilla Glue, because we've already gone through the smaller embellishment mirrors. I'm going to show you what it looks like after each row is done, and then we'll move on to getting that big mirror on. Okay, it's finally time for the large mirror. Now I've already placed it to make sure that it's going to fit properly, and it will. So I'm going to turn it over here, and I've given it a clean as well. So again, the 2 glues I'm using are a little bit of Gorilla Super Glue and the E6000. So I'm just placing spots of the super glue so that when I get it there, then it'll adhere to those spots quickly. And then the other one just takes a little bit more time, not long. That's it for the super glue. Now the E6000. Now, which can be stringy, so be careful not to get it on your piece at all. And we're just gonna start putting some on. Now we're going to turn this over and we're going to place it just like so. You just move it a smidge at a time, but it's pretty much perfect the way it is. I'm just going to do a little pressing. That beautiful mirror. Okay, so now I'm going to place some parchment paper on here, and then I'm going to place a bunch of notebooks to put some weight on it overnight. How beautiful is that? Love it. Okay, my friends, we're ready to add our embellishments to Choose Joy. We've got 3 coats of varnish on there, and it's just looking gorgeous. Love that dragonfly glaze. If I'm adding embellishments to a piece, I just use basically these 2 items. I'll use E6000 for the larger, heavier mirrors because it's got a lot, it has industrial strength, don't you know? And then I use the Gorilla Super Glue to add the smaller embellishments that we have. And you can also use resin. Now I'm going to start with the rhinestones. I've got these lovely blue rhinestones I'm going to add to the in between the pinks. And then I have these mirrors I'm going to add in here. So we'll start with the rhinestones. Okay, so that's just in case I have to put that glue down. Okay, we're just going to add a little bit of glue there. And always just make sure that if it's stringy that you just draw straight up first. We're happy with that. Maybe some mirrors now. Okay, now the last of the rhinestones. There we go. They're all on. Beautiful. Okay, there we go. All the embellishments added. A beautiful piece. We'll let that dry and cure and whatnot, and then we'll then I'm going to finish up the back, and in the next module I'm going to show you how to hang this. Okay. We're talking embellishments, so this is the last embellishment I want to talk about, and it's adding a tin plate insert onto your piece. So how do we lay out and get ready for that? So this piece here is about 18 inches. Now the very first thing we need to do is find our center. So I'm going to use my Wow center finder. And just check that by doing another angle. And there we go, we've got our center. Love the Wow center finder. Love it. Okay, so that's our center. So we're gonna just take our compass, get it in there. Okay, so now where is our first circle gonna be? Like, we can't just place this and trace it, right? So first thing we need to do is measure this. And this is 7 3/4 inches in diameter. Okay, so there's the diameter. The radius is half of that, so it's 3.875 or 3 7/8 inches. Now, You'll want to give yourself a little bit of leeway to get that in after your piece is painted. You don't want to be too crowded. So I think if you went about 3 15/16 inches, you'd be good. So what I'll do is I'll take my ruler, and I want 3 15/16. There we are. Okay. And that just gives us a little bit of leeway again for that plate to get in there. Then I'll make our circle, and then we'll check it. Now that is snug, and that'll work as long as you keep your dots on this side of the line. Don't let them encroach at all. But what you could do also is go up to 4 inches on that. So again, just giving yourself another little bit of leeway. Yeah, I would probably do that, 4 inches. Yeah, and then you just start dotting around and creating your mandala, incorporating the colors of your centerpiece. As I said before, in these pieces here, I had not realized that there's a hole top and bottom. And so once you get your piece painted, I would take your piece and place it there. Determine what color needs to be underneath those to make those holes go away. You can also try and fill them with something and then paint over them. But remember, this does not go on until everything's painted, everything's varnished. And this will go on last of all. You'll just be gluing that on. So you'll want to get the color underneath there to match that. If that's what you have. You might have been smart and got the ones with no holes in them. Anyhow, I will be doing a separate video on creating this piece. But for now, I just wanted to let you know how to go about getting this for your centerpiece. Okay, and then you would just carry on laying out the piece as you would normally. Okay, so that, my friends, is embellishments. And there are so many cool things, as you have seen, that we can do with embellishments. And your just creative mind is going to open up a world of possibilities for you. Okay, in the next module, we're going to talk all about how we're going to hang our pieces. There are many different ways and different considerations you need depending on how thick your piece is, how heavy it is, what you're going to use. Okay, all right, see you in module 14. And remember, keep on dotting. You will not regret it. I promise you.